right? We already know about Stephon Diggs with his December Diggs comments. I think whatever's going on for the Patriots this year, they've performed on the field. That's fine. I'm now starting to look at it through a mental edge. You know, the Chargers have something in their back pocket. They can literally say, well, we went through 25 different combinations when it came to the offensive line. Our two best tackles got hurt, and we'll probably be without our rookie running back that we drafted this year. Like, they almost have an excuse built in. But who won't have an excuse is Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert could go down, if they lose this week to the Patriots, as a playoff choker. He's on the verge of it. They wanted to bypass the Jaguars. Ooh, the Jaguars. And I know they're good this year. But, you know, if someone asked me, hey, I'd love to see the Jaguars. I don't know why. Forever in my life, they would be the tomato can. Always to me. I know they're having a good year. Don't get me wrong. But I really hope the Patriots look at it on a long view of it all. The Chargers tanked to play them, right? People in the media are talking about their easy schedule constantly, trying not to give credit to Drake May, some people saying he's a system quarterback. And, you know, they are inexperienced, sure. Mike Vrabel's been there before. Stephon Diggs has had a good history in the playoffs. Hell, Milton Williams last year was a big part of the Super Bowl run for the Eagles. Carlton Davis has won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. Morgan Moses has played in the playoffs as an offensive lineman. So if there's pressure on Drake May where Justin Herbert's been there before, the pressure is clearly on Justin Herbert in this one. And here's the thing. The built-in excuse for the Chargers is real. But with all the coaching movement that's happening around the league, none of these coaches are getting fired after this one. I do think it means more for Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh to win this game than the Patriots. Now, it would be completely disappointing if the Patriots lost at home opening week after a 14-win season, because everything that people shouted about them would be true. They would look like frauds and front runners. That's a fact, and I'll do it. I'll be consistent about it. But would it be disappointing if they lost? Absolutely. Is it a failure? No. But you can't blow through the entire regular season, have an MVP candidate, and get bounced in the first round at home to a team that's had 25 different combinations on the offensive line, and their quarterback's left hand is hurt, who's already choked in the playoffs with multiple interceptions, with no running game. But I do think it's more important for Harbaugh and for Herbert than it is for Drake May and the Patriots. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. I want that chip. You know, the chip on your shoulder that the old Pats had, the ones that Mike Vrabel had. Nobody gave us a chance. Because that's the way it's perceived. At least some media feel that way. Bill Belichick talked about the matchup with Jim Gray. Oh, that must have been fun. I'm going to read you some of that. Maybe we have the audio. I don't know. We'll find out. And also, we got college football playoff tonight. Miami, Ole Miss. Who you got? We'll get into that as we take you into the Bruins game tonight against Calgary. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub. Felger and Maz are just his pregame.
They've been getting wholesale deals for years.
It's Joe Murray on the Sports Hall.
Okay, Coach, nobody will have any interest in this answer from you. The Chargers against New England.
Well, the Chargers are pretty, first of all, what's the quarterback situation? With Herbert, the broken hand and all, that's definitely been a factor. They've had some injuries on the offensive line. Again, this is a team that if the Chargers have to play from behind and have to pass block, and try to protect and throw the ball, 35, 40 times a game, I think they're going to be in a lot of trouble. If they can, play from ahead and get control of the game, make it a tight game, they certainly have the defense and enough. If they can have enough of a running game to keep it competitive, I think that they, would certainly have a chance. But if the game gets away from them, they're going to have to throw. I still don't know if they can pass block well enough to,
Future Hall of Fame coach Bill Belichick, host of the North Carolina football team. Did you hear a little bit of a sigh in there? Like, if they have to, get behind, and then, the offensive line is just, I think it's just going to be too much for them. It was almost as if he didn't want to give credit to the Patriots and the way that their roster is constructed with guys that might be no longer his. No, I'm not doing that. I think he was just asked a question and answered it, and he thinks based off the matchup, and based off the quarterback situation and the injuries and the offensive line, he believes the Patriots have the edge. That's at least what I took out of that. I was trying to be petty there, thinking Bill's always petty, but despite whatever he did on the football field this past year in college, I still think the guy knows the game of football. And just basically breaking down a matchup easily to be an analyst, I think he just looked at it from the long view and said, well, there's a lot of question marks here, and there's less question marks for the Patriots. And that the offensive line really does mean something. So good to hear that from Bill Belichick regarding the game this week. I think a lot of people feel the same way about that. Yesterday we were talking about things that what could go wrong. What could go wrong? Obviously, Drake May could get hurt. Drake May could turn the ball over, and Ramondre Stevenson could fumble. They could also give up 5 straight touchdowns. All those things can happen. What if they have to play from behind? That's something that concerns me because I think that the Chargers are built to play ahead, right? With a lead. I know they're going to be without one of their running backs, Omarion Hampton. But does Herbert now potentially throwing the ball 40 times a game change anything? It's kind of an interesting thought where would they be better off throwing it to their receivers where the Patriots struggle at times in their pass game? Plus, they struggle to get at the quarterback. I wonder if that's what they do. Hey, Herbert, you're going to throw the ball 40 times this week, and we're going to try to protect you. Might not be a winning formula. I think the kid Vidal can run a little bit. But I'm kind of curious what Jim Harbaugh is going to do. And this has happened with him with Michigan in the past. Michigan had great running backs, Blake Corum, etc., and we're a great running team. But in one of the college playoff games, they came out throwing with J.J. McCarthy. So wouldn't be surprised if that is what they do this week. You can check in at 617-779-0985. There are people that are giving their predictions all over the league. And I saw NFL.com. They made their wild card round picks on Thursday with 4 of the 5 taking New England at home. But Gennaro Felice picked Justin Herbert to lead L.A. to an upset. Quote, because New England lacks the edge rush to exploit Los Angeles' fully exposed Achilles heel, the Chargers have suffered devastating carnage at offensive tackle, subjecting Justin Herbert to weekly beatings and a career-high 54 sacks. It's a thing that keeps me from buying the Bolt as a true Super Bowl contender. Eventually, my thinking goes, they'll run into some QB hunters who will rock Herbert and wreck an elimination game. I still suspect that ultimately will be the case, with prolific pass rushing teams like Denver and Houston lurking. But in round 1, L.A. draws New England, which finished the regular season tied for 22nd in sacks. He said he doesn't believe that the Patriots defense will be able to stop Herbert as much as they need to. The Chargers defense will have success against Drake May. He said he doesn't trust the defense. He's been dealing with people out of the game. Robert Spillane at least said he'll be back this week. but basically says he's worried about the Patriots defense and thinks Jesse Minter can limit the downfield gains. So people are already a little suspect when it comes to the Patriots this weekend. I looked it up yesterday because I know that Skaz and I brought it up. I wanted to look up Josh McDaniels' career versus the Chargers. I left it over the last 5 years. Or I went back a little bit, actually, too. But career record versus the Chargers, as a head coach, not good. 3 games, lost 32-3, 35-14, and 29-14. As an offensive coordinator with the Patriots, the last few meetings I saw Chargers 45-0, Chargers 41-28. The last 2 games where Josh McDaniels was an offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots against the Chargers, they dropped 40 twice. That's pretty good. Not so bad right there. So I wanted to just pick up on that because it was something we brought up yesterday. And tomorrow night we'll do a whole preview. We'll give our predictions. I can't wait for the game now because I think we've talked about it too much. Sounds like the trenches. Can the offensive line of the Chargers hold up, and can the Patriots defense make plays? It's as easy as that. Cortez and Worcester, what's up, bud?
Joey Murr, how we doing?
How you doing, buddy?
Good. Listen, man, I love you. I swear I do. We've connected on X before about some eating spots in Worcester, but I first got to check you on the Belichick thing. You can't say, if he didn't mention at all New England, not even the slightest reference, it was fully 100% about the Chargers. That's not like a little suspect, don't you think?
Well, I said it to be cheeky as, there's not any resentment there. But,
okay.
But, I mean, I think he analyzed it right, but definitely did not mention their name.
Sure, yeah, right, purposely, yeah. And then secondly, I got to ask you if you've checked out Taino Restaurant in Worcester yet. I
have not, but tell me, I'll look it up. Taino, you said?
Yeah, so the guy used to have a spot. He's got a really interesting story. He's a full Japanese, like 50, 55-year-old guy, born and raised in the Dominican Republic, speaks full Dominican Spanish, and makes Dominican sushi, amongst other, hybrid, Japanese Dominican fusion is the word I'm looking for. Yeah. It's delicious. You got to try it out. It's on Park Ave.
All right, Cortez, I love Park Ave food. Well, since he mentioned Chinese food, Baylor Shireman doing an appearance tonight. Kowloon, go check it out. He's doing a signing, so he'll be there tonight. I wasn't able to go, Skaz. I know how much you wanted to meet Baylor Shireman and talk about South Dakota basketball and Creighton basketball, and why didn't they pick up a big man out of that big man out of Creighton last year? But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that tonight. There just won't be enough time here. Also, the Bruins back in action tonight. They return home. I haven't seen it. I think it's Korpisalo, right? Okay, it is. Thank you. I was been critical about Marco Sturm over the last week or so, but I feel like he's really trying. They got their defensive philosophy figured out, but now that Lindholm's out and they have some guys coming back and Lowry's in there, they've struggled on that end. But please, if you haven't been watching the Bruins or just in and out of it, they lead the league in penalties. It's actually becoming frustrating as hell. I believe the Flames are third in the league in penalties as well. But I just can't watch it anymore. It's really hard. I can barely remember the last time they played on a 5-on-5. Can barely remember it. But please, just play a clean game tonight. They lost 2-1 in overtime in the last meeting. Last night, the Flames played Montreal, lost 4-1. They played 4 games since they played the Bees just a couple of weeks ago, and they're on a 3-game losing streak. And David Pastrnak has been very good in his career against the Flames, so look for maybe a goal or a point night if you're betting on it. A couple of things before we get out. The college football playoff is tonight. You get Ole Miss and Miami. Miami is a 3-point favorite. They have a tremendous defense. And Mississippi State, Ole Miss, is off their big win Against Georgia, they're still with Joe Judge and Charlie Weiss Jr. are running that team at the moment. In my brain, Miami and their defense might be too much tonight, but historically,